Hey everyone, this is your OG, and this is another Godforge video. Today we will be providing reaction, insights, and commentary on the patch notes and updates that Simon released today. This covers a lot, but we will be going through it at double time to boil down what you need to know for tomorrow's start of Wave 3 of the Alpha Cavern of Chaos Challenge. Without a moment's pause, let's optimize.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. We are 1 day away.
1 day away. Simon's in the background. We are going to go double speed and provide you the key updates and what they mean for your strategy as you start the cavern for the third wave of alpha testing. Okay. Simon also covers the rewards towards the end, so you're not going to want to miss that to hear what they've landed on. So stick around and let's go. All right, I agree with the sentiments and the stats. I think they're very strong for alpha testing. Really great to see. I do think they've found the fun. I think the core gameplay loop is engaging. I think they've done a ton of great work on the cameras. I think they're continuing to improve the systems, and hopefully they'll be much closer on this one. And I think the power curve is getting better. All right, they give us some stats and some breakdown from Wave 2, okay? Give you an idea how many 18,000 folks played. Of them, 13.6 played for 3 days or more. They played for 282,000 hours. That's over 20 hours per player. About 1,100 or so folks, or 8.3%, beat 120. About 4.6% beat 150, so 630. And if you beat level 120, you had a 55% chance to beat level 150. And then they pumped out 210 billion gold. Shows the level 120 was beaten 4,700 times. The average person beat it almost 4 times. Shows some of the folks who were first to it. I remember seeing, oh no, my Rook was definitely in the first few that were up there. He was very fast. DLDS was definitely pretty quick too. Our one of our cluster mates, I know he was very fast, but I don't know if he was first or if he was feeding into the leaderboard. But anyways, this was 150, almost 10,000 clears, 630 players. Oh no, my Rook, I'm pretty sure I saw him being first too, so in Discord. So I think that was pretty fair world record or world first for that one. It was very fast. He did it very quick. PTW Alien came into my stream and I talked to him. He was definitely done and very quick. So I can acknowledge that definitely happened. Pound Cakes and a bunch of these guys were going after Fafnir pretty hard for a while because they had already gotten up to the top of the cavern. All right. So tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will start the final wave of alpha testing, and this will be the competition wave. Okay, they're putting Godforge website up. I'm not sure if it's godforge.gg. They're saying it will update at the same time tomorrow 11 a.m. It will, when the game launches, also this website will update, so we'll get that probably tomorrow. I'll confirm it for everyone. They're going to probably drop it in Discord, so I'll drop it in my live stream, and it'll be in Discord as well. But that is when that starts, and then you'll have a leaderboard for Wave 3 will be at the Godforge website, not the Hell Hades website for this one. Okay. So then we get into some of the reward. Okay, here's the calendar. This is the Alpha 3 calendar, so you want to use this to plan your farming. This is when they're going to drop us energy, gold, spirits, and XP, okay, throughout the time. So you see the first 3 days are dry. You're going to want to, I mean, you get a lot at the beginning, so you might not burn through it all in 3 days, but you're not going to get a drop until Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it takes time. That's when he drops it, and then it takes time to hit you, to actually go out and hit you. So it might hit sometime after that. You know, you can't confirm exactly how long it'll take to process. That's not all within their control. So that just gives you an idea of what you're going to be getting and when. So you want to factor that into your strategy as you're planning. We weren't sure how much they were going to give us. This is a pretty good amount. You should not be. And here's the Godforge website, what the leaderboard looks like, and looks to be working. So that's awesome because that's a really important piece to making this feel fair and as they state they want. So really happy to see. what they've got going here. These updates are really, really good updates. So this is the final wave. This is what the rewards are. Okay, so the top damage dealing team against Fafnir at 151 will be the miniature at Verko's Vault in Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, the sketch already looks really badass. That's pretty cool. It talks about, there's no cash prizes, no entry fees, no pressure. It's just bragging rights, exclusive rewards, and things that they're giving us for being a part of their testing. So there'll be that top team will be on the diorama in this miniature. And then the top 5, they'll get their usernames engraved on it. And the top 100 will get their usernames engraved on the base. So that's pretty cool if you're in the top 100 damage dealers against Fafnir at 151. Then there's also 7 players going, not 5 now, to Las Vegas. And we'll get into exactly how those 7 players are going to be selected. Now, okay, yep. So we'll get into that in a second. But just for playing in the alpha, you get an exclusive portrait frame that will show like around your character in the game, Godforge Forever. So it'll say, hey, you were here at the beginning. You're an OG, if you will. And they had better be wary of your knowledge and skill because you've been around this game. You know it. If you play in the alpha each day, you will receive 1,000 rubies on the launch of the full game. That's very powerful. I'm sure that they're going to be converting into energy and things you need to get farm more heroes and get further into the game quicker. If you are one of the first 1,000 players to defeat Fafnir at level 151, you'll earn a commemorative medal forged with Fafnir's Bane. Very cool token to race for. And lastly, anyone who completes the cavern and fights Fafnir in 151 will have their name in the official game credits. So it's a really nice catch-all there to just include everybody that is participating. Okay, so here's some of the changes. There are now 7 spots to go to Vegas and party like a Fafnir star. The top 2 damage dealers against the dragon will earn a trip to the desert of Nevada where they will get a master class in artistic miniature creation, a renowned space to be invited into. The 2 fastest gamers to descend the cavern and crack on Fafnir at 151 will be invited to the shindig in Sin City. Speed is your friend in this fight, both for your heroes and for getting past some of the hardest content. 2 more explorers will join this group for getting the top 2 scores in terms of 2-star challenges. This is one space EuroG has been pushing on during both waves, so it'll be fun to see just how close we can come to getting all 300 stars. Finally, the last invite will be the Willy Wonka Golden Ticket, going randomly to one gamer who beats at least 1 level in the cavern each day of the testing. So make sure you at least qualify for that. Go in the game every day, beat 1 level, and you could go as the lucky invite, which is awesome. I love that they include that. Really cool. So they mentioned their spirit of play. Fair play is what they're striving for. Excellent. OG supports that. Some exciting news about the opportunity to attend the event in Vegas. Look for more to come as it gets closer. You might be able to go on your own dime if you want to go to the event that they have coming up there. And I think they said something like it's going to be in April or it's going to be on the anniversary of Fateless. So that's when they're planning that. All right, next we get into the patch notes here as we move forward. We're about a little over halfway, but we're getting into some of the really important information here as to the changes between Wave 2 and Wave 3. That's the patch notes. Simon gives a great shout out to CCs, so that's awesome. Tip your bartender and subscribe to your CCs. That's what we always push. Support these folks that are making content and are sharing how to get through these hard and difficult points because it helps them a lot. So they are mixing many, if not all of them. So it looks like they're fixing many, if not all of the major bugs that were being used in Wave 2, which is great to hear. Of course, we'll also be doing a small amount of testing to ensure these changes are working properly. But for the most part, we'll just be going off the language of the gear, weapons, imprints, and not be looking for any bugs to exploit. It's not the goal. Bleeds were stacking higher than they should, above 10. We certainly counted almost 30 a few times, so that should be fixed and stopped at 10, which is 10% or possibly 20% with Lady's Ox imprint in the mix. But with bleeds having been doing 100% damage instead of 25% damage, I'm expecting that they may not be the strat to rock exactly, or at least we should be looking at other strategies that may be comparable now. Divinity gains have also been balanced or focused more on individual actions versus team-wide actions, with Aphrodite and Shamash being the biggest impacts. The Heka weapon got a little bit of a switcheroo. What was HP to attack is now attack to HP. Big difference, but the epic weapon is certainly more in line with its rarity, where the previous version was easily stronger than many legendary weapons. So they are changing that, and it makes sense that they are doing it. So the Heka is not going to be the brawler weapon of choice going forward for Wave 3, or you shouldn't be looking for that because it now converts attack into HP and not HP into attack. They added a count to your roster so that you can see how many heroes you have out of the 150 roster slots you're given. So that's awesome. And you have, if you go over 150, the heroes you receive are just received as imprints. So there it is. You see 67 out of 150. So if you go over that, you get the heroes as imprints only. So you want to use the unbind feature, or you want to, turn heroes into spirits and XP like this, like he's doing, or just roll them up towards other heroes. They also added turn count timer and the wave number to the upper left of the UI screen. So when you're in battle, now you can see what wave you're on. You can see how long you've been in the fight. You can see, some of this information that is easy to forget when you're in a long, especially when you're in a long battle. Yep. So you can see timer, wave, and turn. So all of that helps you as well. So this is for your OG, right? Who can't remember what wave he's on, but I appreciate it though. So then Dagonet, our precious Dagonet, he's shone too bright. His imprint was money in the bank when applied to across 3 or 4 team members. And yes, I have to begrudgingly agree, it is more of a legendary level imprint, but it was fun while it lasted. So Simon gave us a secret sneaky leak here though, as he mentions that the replacement imprint for Dagonet looks to pair very well with Dracula, giving Drac 35% turn meter increase when he uses his core ability and puts bleed out on everyone, including his own teammates. So also when he ults and strips the bleeds off, it will do the damage multipliers that we've been expecting but haven't been seeing. So even with bleed being less appealing, I like Drac a lot for this wave because of not only what I just talked about, but also his buffs and survivability. Shamash now places shield instead of barrier. Big change. Can't stack. This will weaken the current Fafnir meta team a little, but I wonder if it won't knock Smash out because he has joint attack, and along with the rest of my joint attack jumbo package, it seems even more relevant than now than ever, as we'll see in a moment. So we get into some Fafnir changes. After 20 ultimates, Fafnir is going to ignore Immortal, Shield, Barrier, Ward, everything. There's no way to stop his attacks, no way to stop his damage. So that's going to end you, basically. Sort of the same way that Golden Guardian does if he gets his ultimate before you get him down to 1%. Also, there's a 500 turn limit for the 151 fight. So now it's not about building the team that's going to last the longest. It's about building the team that is going to be able to do the most damage in under 500 turns or before Fafnir gets his 20 ultimates. So that changes a lot of strategies, and we're going to see a much different, I think, meta coming into Wave 3 for both the Golden Guardian and for, maybe not as much for the Golden Guardian, but definitely for 151. Stats have been increased for level 120 and Golden Guardian and 150, 151 Fafnir. So they're going to be beefed up even more for stats. So that's an interesting as well. Then some economy updates, better epic hero drop rates between 60 and floor 60 and 120, and lower legendary drop rates during that period. So you're only going to be really getting legendaries either at level 20 or 30 in the beginning or after 120. So it's really about how do you make the most of epics and rares and build teams that can go past 120 and up to the levels where you can actually farm legendaries at a decent rate. So what I hear is, you're going to be wanting to beat 120 with maybe only one. Maybe if you're lucky, you have 2 legendaries and a mostly rare and epic team. So it's time to look at your 3rd and 4th string backups and options for, teams, and not just be looking for your very obvious, legendary heroes. What can you do with this rare? How will they work in a team? And that's really going to be more on display or more tested. We all want to know, we all have certain heroes we absolutely want on our team, but who can we build quickly and cheaply, who can do the job almost as well or close enough is going to be kind of the philosophy there. He mentions better gear drop rates at level 60 and above. So clearly I hear that. Use what you get until level 60. Just if you get some percentage runs, then push those up to maybe level 12. But if it's a flat stat, don't go above level 8 with it. You shouldn't need to. You should be able to get enough of the stats you need. Just use that gear and don't roll it up too high, because that's just going to be wasted coin when that ultimately just sits there and isn't going to be used ever again. So just be realizing that it's going to be kind of temporary and throwaway. Updated guaranteed epic and Lego drops at floor 20 and 30, he mentions. So I have never gotten a Lego maybe I got it at 30. Yes, I got it at 30, but I think I got Gilgamesh at 20. So maybe that was the epic I got. And then the Lego was Aphrodite. That was wave 1. I don't think wave 2 I had Isis, thank God, but I didn't have anybody else for a while. Anubis was level 90. And I ran with a rare and a epic team, and I did, you can do just fine with that. But I got Aphrodite, Hell, Isis, and Anubis all before 100, level 100 or floor 100 in both waves. I'm thinking, you know what? I think YDG, Ra, and Odin might be early game pulls. That'd be really interesting if they switch that up, because Ra and YDG together actually looks pretty strong. Actually, let's go to ravenpyros.com right now, and let's take a look at that combination just real quick. We're going to start with YDG. 30% attack in all battles, one of the highest ones. Only I think Zeus is 35%. His basic attack an enemy 360% times his attack, ignores 15% of the target's defense if they're under blaze, and gives himself a 40% attack up boost for 2 turns. That's a great starting basic. His core attacks AoE twice, so that's basically just shy of like 350. Oh, it's a little over 370 times attack. First attack has a 75%. I'm sure that scrolls up a bit, but chance to place Blaze 2 for 2 turns. The second attack decreases the target by 5% up to 20%. And his awakening, he can increase the duration and activate blazes. So that's a very interesting dynamic that I'm calling out, because Raw does something similar. So if they were working together and you had a blaze focused team, this could be really interesting. But here in his ultimate is what's really neat. Obviously, Fafnir at 150, 151 puts blaze and Aetherburn on you. Transfers all blaze and Aetherburn from allies onto Fafnir, and then attacks 3 times. He also places a shield on everyone, and the strength of the shield increases by 2% for each debuff transferred. So if there's a 5-person team against Fafnir, and each of you, all 5 have Blaze and Aetherburn, and he transfers all 10, that's 20% shield increase that he puts on the team. Really powerful for helping survivability as well. He transfers Awakening 5, transfers all debuffs from all allies onto the enemy. So everything Fafnir puts on you, you put right back on him. That can be really powerful for survivability. And then his passive inflicts 30% more damage and receives 30% less damage, a 60% swing basically if Fafnir is under Blaze and Aetherburn, which he will be if you use his ultimate, and if if he's doing his thing. Okay, so then you can see his ascension bonuses here. Raven has added all the ascension bonuses and the awakening bonuses, which is awesome. So now we're going to go back out and we're going to look at what if we put Ra with him. So Ra has a 25% attack in all battles, so a little bit less. So we would obviously put YDG in the lead spot if that's what we were going to go as attack. His basic attacks 1 enemy. He has a dual multiplier with attack and accuracy. Now, I don't think the accuracy is going to kick in very much, because you're not going to have as high of accuracy as you are of attack. You might have 5,500 attack, but I've never really seen too many people with 5,500 accuracy. So it's not going to be the same kind of, it's just like an added bonus, like a kicker for building accuracy, because you need to anyways to make sure these blazes land. But assuming you have enough accuracy on him and speed and attack, he has a 75% chance to increase the duration of blaze by 1 turn if his attack is critical, it activates Blaze. That's on his basic. So if you had joint attackers like Aphrodite, Zeus, and Shamash with Ra and YDG, can you see how they're cycling and increasing the duration of Blaze to a point where maybe Fafnir has 10 Blazes on him? Is that a route to go? We'll have to test it and see. But here's the core, his core for Ra: attack all enemies, attack and accuracy dual multiplier with a 75% chance to place Blaze 2 for 3 turns. So both him and YDG both have the 3 turns. And how quickly can you stack up Blazes, and just how powerful will that be? Or will it give Fafnir a lot of divinity? It'll be interesting to see the race of damage done versus his divinity gains and him getting to 20 ultimate. So that'll be a bit of a race we're going to have there. But it increases crit damage if you have a Ra Awakened to A5, 3% for every Blaze placed, stacking up to 15 times. So that's 45% crit damage increase that he can get maxed out at. Finally, his ultimate is an AoE, attack and accuracy. He hits 3 times, removes Blaze, kind of like a Dracula or an Achilles, strips the Blaze from enemies and allies, and increases the damage inflicted by 15% for each Blaze removed. Where does that cap out at, or does that continue to work? That is, I think, a very interesting thing. His A3 increases accuracy by 5 for every Blaze removed. So that's going to make him hit harder and harder and harder, although probably not that noticeable, because at 75% accuracy, even if you had 1,000 accuracy, it's not that impactful. But it'll help make sure you continue to land if any of Fafnir's stats, such as resistance, go up as he ults more, or if they've just pushed his resistance up to a point where you can't build above it, or, you know, build high enough. So you have to use a mechanism like this in order to build your accuracy up high enough. But that is a very, and his divinity gain is when an enemy or ally is damaged by Blaze. So that's pretty often going to happen. If Fafnir does land Blaze on you, then he's going to gain divinity and strip them all off. So that's a great mechanic there. And his passive, to finish him out, heals him by 5% of his max HP every time a Blaze is activated. So you have a natural healing in here as well. I think that these two together with your joint attack jumbo package could be a really interesting Blaze team. And maybe with bleeds getting knocked down a little bit, maybe Blaze like this could be a really powerful dynamic. We are going to test that out when we get there. All right. After that, economy updates. Better Epic Hero. We dropped. Oh, floor 125. Okay, will now be exclusively dropping Eternal or Purple Alchemy Stones as rewards, which were more difficult to get because you couldn't solely get them anywhere. They were sort of like a second option at a bunch of different places, and so it was very hard to get them. So that's a nice balance so that you can more deliberately farm your alchemy stones. And there are a lot of Eternal, especially legendary heroes. Bugs that are fixed. They fixed a lot over the last 2 weeks, of course, they'll be looking for, and they acknowledge that there will likely be bugs in Wave 3. But I can attest to their attentiveness and their responsiveness to these bugs in the Discord. You can see how quickly they take care of things. You know, and so I think they are hopefully down to the really fine tuning now, and there aren't any major broken pieces, but we'll see and see how fast they can fix it and how much it impacts the competition. But hopefully it won't. I'm hoping for their sake and our sake, enjoying it, the experience. I hope that bugs are not a major deciding factor here. Simon says, shows you how to erase all your previous Godforge launchers and files to ensure it doesn't pile up and slow you down. So that's what he's doing here. And then we'll download from the email that goes out tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We'll download the launcher all over again and download the game and start playing it. So, all right, folks, that is wrapping up. We are going live at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning to kick off Wave 3, and I look forward to seeing you there as myself and other members of the cluster look to crack the challenges of the cavern once more. Take care of yourself, and remember, play smarter.